Welcome back to Allison Customs Project Car TV. Today we're back on the International Scout, known as Project Creep, and you guys know why. I am ready to begin the process of undercoating. So what that means for right now is we need to start putting seam sealer on everything, and then all of the bolt holes for seats and other brackets and stuff, they all need to be filled. So I just went out and got my bucket bins of just old bolts, and we're just going to go through and basically screw a bolt into all the holes that we can so that the threads are protected. There's some little studs in a few places. We're going to put little covers on all those to protect those threads, and then we're going to get the tubes of seam sealer out, and we're going to start seam sealing this and try and get it done as quick as possible. Well, that's it for now. This took about 3 hours, so it wasn't nearly as bad as I expected it to be. It's all seam sealed, and then I got as much of it taped off as I possibly could, some paper on it. And if this stuff was cured, we could go right into spraying, but that'll probably be tomorrow's project. So for now, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, well, we're finally to the morning of going ahead and getting this Scout undercoated. So the product I bought, and there's no sponsors for this or anything like that, but I bought the Raptor bed liner, and we're doing the underside of the truck, the inside of the fender wells, all that kind of stuff in black. And we're going to try and get just the bottom of the truck and a few little pieces done. I bought a full kit which included 6 of these 24-ounce bottles, so I guess that's about 1.5 gallons if I'm understanding their process correct. It also came with a spray can of the same black bed liner that you're supposed to be able to just shake and do. So that I'll probably use for like touch-ups or something like that. It came with a can of adhesion promoter, and I've already sprayed that this morning. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes for that to dry before you want to start applying anything else. So it came with the spray gun and everything, including a regulator, everything except for the orange part down. So it didn't come with the air hose nipple or like this orange piece, which is just a water air separator that I tend to put on there just in case there's any water coming out of the air line, although I got pretty dry air. And a measuring cup. So there's a line on here that says fill line, and based on the measurements and the instructions, they're looking for 240 milliliters per bottle. The fill line says it goes to 237, so I assume that's the correct amount. And we're going to pour, I'll probably use out of the big bottle here first, since I'm going to be doing this a couple different times. But we'll pour out of there. You pour it straight into one of these bottles, shake this bottle up, and then you take the cap off, put it on the gun, and spray. And then it says to hold the gun about 20 inches from the work surface, and 2 coats with an hour flash time between coats. It's a little cool in here this morning, so I'm actually been running a heater trying to make sure the truck is not, you know, down at the 50-degree level. So I'm going to run that some more and go ahead and get my first can of this stuff mixed up. And all right, it's been an hour. This stuff is flashed off. It's not quite dry to the touch, but well, actually is. I wouldn't want to press too hard on it. But so with the second coat, we'll be able to hit everything from a different angle than we did last time with the truck the other way. So we'll get this again. We used 3 bottles last time. That included doing our small parts and trying to spray as much up in the fender wells as we could. So I'll probably spray in there a little bit again, but I'm pretty happy with how much I got in there. I'm just going to do some touch up on those. So in this process, I used up 5 quarts of the 6 that I had. I still am going to have to do something where the rotisserie is mounted to the body. I'll have to spray in there. And I want to try and get, you know, as any other little spots that I may have missed or haven't seen yet as this thing dries. So you got to wait at least 24 hours before you do any new coats. You could do a third coat in another hour, but I'm not going to be ready to take it off the rotisserie. So at least 24 hours from now before I could do any of that. Really what it's going to be is probably I'm going to wait the 7 to 10 days for the full cure time. And then I'll come back and scuff around the areas where the rotisserie mounts, get this thing up on my 2-post lift or pick it up with the forklift, spray those areas, do any touch-ups, and just let that stuff dry, and then we'll set the body down on the frame. I also used about a half a can of this adhesion promoter, and mostly I wanted to use that around where we had seam sealed, but I ended up just spraying the whole bottom of the truck. It just gets one medium coat, and I used about a half of the can based on the weight. But I wanted to use it around that seam sealer just to make sure that was going to adhere real well. And then just as a tip and trick, once you empty your first bottle, take one of them, pour some thinner in it, clean it out real good. So then when you're at your 1 hour point, you can, and you're gonna have to wait for that flash off, you can screw your gun in here, swirl it around, get some thinner on it, spray a little bit through the gun, and you know it's gonna be fine an hour from now. And then the same thing, when I was ready to, when it was all done, I just put about a third of a bottle of thinner in it, shook it all up with the gun attached to it. That kind of cleans everything on the inside. I sprayed a bunch of the thinner through it, and then wiped, you know, sprayed it onto a rag, wiped the whole gun down, took the bottle off, wiped the straw and the inside of the cap down. And I marked this one thinner with some orange paint there. And I'll just save this until I'm all done with all these projects, because it screws right to the gun, so it makes it easy for cleanup. That's just a tip for you when you're doing yours. Anyway, I'm gonna roll this thing flat, get it out of the way, and let it dry. I'm thrilled with the way the product looks, how it came out. That's all I got for you this week. So we're gonna let this dry, and please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all the YouTube stuff, and I'll see you again next time on Allison Customs Project Car TV.